6.8. This tells me that we want to get from here to here. There's a lot of problems here. There's missing closing tags. There's a fact that div3 appears twice. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divs, so I'm going to assume this last one, I'm going to just call it div6. And I might just get rid of all these IDs later. But to start, the first thing I want to tackle is the fact that it's centered. And since we already know how to do that, let's go ahead and center this. Now there's already a div here, and I broke this up so that it's easier to read. ID equals container. And let's see, I believe, well, let's give a closing div as well to this. /div. And then throw each of these divs in here. So let's clean this up. So I have div1, div2. Look at this div3. There's an extra div there. I don't know why the student put it there. Control X, there's a div3 right there. We're going to throw it in, whoops, keep it there. Div4, div5, and div6, we have the same issue for some reason. Let's scroll up. Control X, that. Get rid of this. We don't need that. And throw everything in here. And now this is the closing container tag. Let's go up that line, and we see that that's div ID container. Run our code again, and it's changed a little bit because if we got rid of all the tags, now nothing exists in here. Everything exists out in this area. Let's see if we can put it in the middle. So container. And how do you put something in the middle? You have to play with the margin, turn it into auto. But that alone is not going to do it. What you have to do is give the margin, we have to play with the width of it, and the width is going to cover, let's say 65%, so that we have about 17 to 20% on this side. And we solved that problem. Our first problem has been solved. Now, secondly, let's look at how this was divided. So there's nothing really saying whether they divide div1 and div2. We can inside a container, we can give, let's create another div. We're going to put a left side and a right side for the class of this div. Div class right side even, or right display. Actually, let's call that, let's do left display first. Div class equals left side. And on the left, we're going to throw in all the divs that we need to go in there. So first one goes in, Control X, Control V. And what else goes in there? It is the one that says second content. So second content is somewhere at the bottom. It's right here, div4, Control X. And second content goes in here on the left side. Okay, nothing really happened except second content now appears first, but that's fine. Let's move everything on the right side into the right side. So here's my divs, div6, Control X, and on my right side, there we have our content. And let's clean it up a little bit. If I backspace that, if I clean that up in that direction, clean that up, move these a bit closer together, div ID 6, div 6 is over here, and let's run my code. Nothing really changed again. So let's give some values, some CSS values to the left side. Left side. In fact, over here in the container, let's give it a display property of flex. And the problem we're solving now is the relative size of the left side to the right side. So if the container is flex, we can give the left side a flex value, and this is the relative value of 1.8. And the reason I selected that is the right side we're going to give it a flex value of 1. Now the reason I did that was because if this is 1, then this is going to be 1.8. Or the left side will be double the right side. So let's run that. And as you can see, the left side over here is the left side is in fact double the right side. And as I increase it, the right side will increase, or the left side should increase bigger than the right side. There's a few things we have to get rid of. For example, this div is floating on the left. I don't want that to be the case. Let's run that. Okay, see, now it's working out a little bit better. So div 1 was floating to the left. We didn't want it floating to the left. And let's continue on from there. So let's so now these divs right here have these value. Div 1 has this value, but I want everything on the left side that's also a div. I want it to have all these values. So I'm going to select all of these and Control C, copy it there and place it in there. And I'm going to take it out of div 1 because I already put it in my value. And actually I want to get rid of, if I run the code, you'll see that I have these, this div is right here, but I haven't given div 4 a background color. So if I give div 4, which is the second content over here, if I give it a background color, and I give it blue, you're going to see it's going to appear exactly how it's going to appear blue now. Now, what I want to get rid of is this, and what I suspect is the issue is that I'm specifying the width of 150, and I want the width to be controlled by the flex value. So I got rid of this width value, delete, and if I run my code, now you see that it's taking over all of its container. Okay, now the reason I put this earlier, I was experimenting before I started this video at 1.8, is that the right side, 1 to 1.8, not 1.8 to 1, and it didn't change much. Let's say 1. When I make it 1, oh, the issue might be that there was a width for these as well. Let's get rid of the width for these. And if I run my code again, there we go. Now you see that interesting. I'm not sure what's going on here. Well, I'll figure it out in a minute. But in the meantime, let's give background colors to Or let's give shapes and background colors to all of these divs. So the second content, that would be div 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So div 5 has a background color of red, and div 6, ID div 6, has a background color of black. So when we run that code, we see that it's right there. Now div 3 has all this extra attributes, div 2 and div 3, and it's very much repeated. So let's just control X that and throw it into something called right side div. And every div within the class right side and we're going to give it all these features. So when I run my code, there I have it. Let's see, what else do I have to do? Background red, background blue. I can get rid of all of this. I don't need it. Now I'm giving them all individual colors, which is a lot of work, really. That's almost right. Let's try and fix the fact that those sides are being equal. Height was 100. Padding is 25. Interesting. I'm not sure why this is not working. Left side is 2. Let's make it 3. 2. It's not changing. Odd. I'm going to make another follow-up video once I figure this out.